So just before we get into the main conversation on the new look Black Stars, after the confirmed nationality switches, which obviously has made more options available to coach Nathaniel Attoh, what then will happen in the eventual scheme of things? Some players are going to lose their respective places. Some big disappointments are going to happen. Well, it has happened 3 times already. We're going into a 4th session. But for now, let's throw the attention on the Austrian Grand Prix. All right, so here with me, as usual, Dr. Nathaniel Attoh and Kwabena Poku. Kwabena, that's a lovely T-shirt and a lovely cap as well. Good to see you guys. Okay, great stuff there. Now, it's been one we've been waiting for, especially considering the fact that the season has been has been a lot of drama, has had a lot of drama and all of that. But away from it, let's just focus a bit on Lewis Hamilton and the advocacy and the level it has gotten to, and the way he's swaying into other conversations, away from what we know him for, the racism and all of that. Doc, you heard him during the week. How striking were the comments that he made, regarding the political situation in Britain?
I think the young man has grown into a mature adult, and he believes that the platform that he has and the number of followers that he has, he should be able to use his position and the things he's been doing outside the sports positively. I mean, the statement he gave out was very profound, and he was looking at the whole world at this point in time, post-COVID world. And he made a profound statement by saying that a lot of governments all over the world have been failing their people. And the only positivity left is sports. And sports has now become very important as a mental health solution to the problems that human beings all over the world are having at this point in time. And that was quite profound, because he's sounding very matured and very worried about the world as a whole in terms of what he's doing in terms of climate change, diversity, and all that. That is very, very important and very profound. I appreciate him for that.
Kwabena?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add to what Doc was saying. I mean, Lewis has a very large platform. And then again, I also think his handlers are doing a fantastic job. I mean, look, he talks about various things, and he's able to turn issues like politics, other issues, into what he believes in. As I was saying, that he turned the whole political situation. He talked about how the system has been tough for certain people out there, not just in our part of the world. If you go out there, you see that the system has really been tough, for people. People are not really spending like they used to. Money's not there. Some have lost their jobs. I mean, if you get into certain airports, the lines you'll have to stay in just to even get out of the airport shows you how crazy, things has been. So he turned certain things into, what he believes in. He turned Boris Johnson's issue into an issue of mental health, where people are going, how political leaders are supposed to lead, and things like that. So I think he made a very good statement and totally back what he said. Again, I give it to his handlers. They are able to let him play in the space where he believes in.
Okay, so this is it. Does it in any way affect his levels of focus, for his core mandate, which is getting into the car, getting the race done, and getting those big results?
No,
is it in any way affecting?
I think it's affecting him to some extent. I mean,
okay.
once you start getting into the realm of thinking of other things, you're a human being. You lose a little bit. I mean, look at Marcus Rashford of Manchester United. Is a typical example. Once other things become more important to you, and you're beginning to see that the world is not only about you and your sports, it affects you a little bit. And I think as Lewis is getting towards the end of his career, he's beginning to shift a little bit. He's a lot more cautious than when he was 25 years, when he was like 25 years old. it will affect him a little bit. But he still has the drive, and I think this season he's shown that even in adversity, he still has gotten it, and he will still rise.
Okay, so just before we get into the conversations for the Austrian Grand Prix and the big, celebrations, looking ahead to the race tomorrow, this is how it's looking, or this is the situation on the leaderboard. Max Verstappen of Red Bull with 181 points. Six wins, 7 podiums. Sergio Perez, Red Bull, 147 points, 1 win, and 6 podium finishes. Charles Leclerc of Ferrari, 138 points, 2 wins, 4 podium finishes. Carlos Sainz Jr., also Ferrari, with 127 points, 1 win, and 6 podium finishes. So these are the top 4. Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, and Sainz Jr. Now the big question is, how much of a threat is this substantial point lead by Verstappen under as we approach this big weekend? Gentlemen.
Well, look, Mercedes has sort of found their mojo, if I should put it that way. And now they seem to be the talk of the grid. I mean, everybody's talking about them in the paddock. I saw the next comment in the group this morning that I think they were sacking the Red Bull team from spying on them. So, I mean, this could change things. Look, we have some serious races coming up. Look, and those serious races are where Lewis actually even performs. They talk about Brazilian Grand Prix, talk about going back to the Americas. We're going back to certain areas where he's very good at. So I think, and George Russell is also finding his feet. So look, I won't say Max has backed the championship yet. The dynamics will change in so many ways if Mercedes finds their feet in the front row and begin to win races here and there. So I wouldn't say, I mean, it's a done deal for Red Bull yet. A lot will happen.
And to add to it, it's very interesting the way things are going. It's becoming more intense. And you can see from Leclerc that he is not going to back down on anything. Watch out for 10-3 on Sunday.
On Sunday. Even the sprint this afternoon. I mean,
it's going to be very tough because, again, they found out that some teams were having flexi floors, and the FIA is clamping down on all those things. So the second half of the season is going to be very, very difficult.
Interesting.
Remember that the average wins per person to win the championship is about 11. It's about 11 to 12. And this year, fortunately for us, so many drivers, in fact, the top 6 drivers are still in the hunt for the championship. So it's going to be Buga Buga going forward.
I like that one. Buga Buga going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think. You can send us a message. 055-1111-997. Interesting thing is that, the track at the Austrian Grand Prix. How do I describe this one? Like a W or what? How do I describe it? Yeah, like a W, more or less.
Yeah.
Or,
look, it's the home of Red Bull. No, everybody knows that. Max Verstappen is very good on that track. But seeing the practice sessions, seeing the qualifiers, look, anything can happen tomorrow. Anything can happen from this afternoon.
And Verstappen also sent a very big signal with qualifiers as well.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah, but the difference,
The difference.
the first
Four,
and the 6th
Yeah.
is about 1/10 of a second. So it's becoming like the lotto. Any number can
Look,
win.
the sprint is this afternoon.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
The sprint is this afternoon. I think Checo was given some penalty points. He's gone way back.
13.
Lewis is on 9th because he crashed out during qualifiers. Russell also crashed out during qualifiers. But they're still in the top 10, mind you. And look, the sprint will give us a taste of what's going to happen tomorrow. The sprint is, I think, about 100 kilometers or 100 miles?
Yeah, something like 20 laps.
20 laps or so, non-stop. So 2:30 this afternoon. It's going to be very interesting.
Okay. Well, so from there we go to the tradition. Now, as we wrap up the conversation, how is it looking for you? Let's begin with you, Doc. who's almost always accurate.
Oh, there'll be a Mercedes on the podium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though they are starting 5th and 9th,
Yeah.
there'll be a Mercedes on the podium.
Okay.
One of the Ferraris will go off. One of the Perez is out already because it's 13th. So one of the Ferraris will go off, and it looks like Leclerc might win this one.
What? I mean, what is this informed by? This prediction informed by?
By his speed. You know, he's very fast on the straights.
And there's a lot of
there
straights.
are 3 DRS zones that you can overtake. And the Ferrari has been faster, has been very, very fast. Just that they've been plagued by, strategies and team order issues and, stuff like that, and the reliability of their engines. But I think Leclerc might just nip it.
Okay.
That's my feeling.
Kwabena, what's your feeling as well?
See, there will be a Mercedes on the podium. I said that last week, and there was.
Okay.
Between Leclerc and Verstappen, I probably will go for Leclerc. Right? He's been very fast. I see Max being very aggressive this weekend. Then again, the F1 sprint will give us a signal of what's going to happen tomorrow. So I still see a Red Bull, a Ferrari, and a Mercedes on the podium. As to who's going to take the race, we'll see on Sunday.
Okay. Let's see on Sunday. Okay, so details of viewing before we wrap it up.
So this afternoon, we are watching the sprint at Starbites, Nesta Square this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. So anybody who wants to join us at Starbites can come through. On Sunday, we're going back to our home at the Labadi Beach Hotel. So from 11 in the morning, you can come through. As usual, we're getting our discount sessions at Labadi Beach Hotel. Good lunch, good snacks, good food all the time. And then, I mean, the season is heating up. So we are inviting more people to come through. It's always fun. It's always fun at the viewing parties and the watch parties. It's always fun. So people should come through on Sunday. But as I was saying, this afternoon, if you want to join us, we are all moving to Starbites. And see you on Sunday at Labadi Beach Hotel.
Okay, so once again, Mercedes definitely a podium finish.
Mercedes a podium finish. Red Bull a podium
and more
finish.
Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, more Charles
For me,
Leclerc.
it's Charles.
Yeah.
More, but then again, me, I will just hold on. I always say qualifiers and sprint don't give you the true picture of Sundays, especially this season. These cars are too close. Look, yesterday the time Alpine was even clocking was amazing because
Okay.
they've done some serious updates.
All right.
So Sunday we wait to see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's see, and let's wait to see if this combined prediction. I mean, this is the first in a very long time that we're having both of you toe a similar line. You know,
Yeah.
it's interesting. That's why we had some scattered showers this morning. Dr. Adoda Santiape, always a pleasure to host you. Thank you so much, Kwabena Poku.
Thank you,
And
man.
big greetings and big shouts to F1GH, the biggest WhatsApp group and the most active you can find anywhere. Shouts to all of you guys, and glad to always know you are tuned in to the Joy Sports Link. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Inaki Williams, Tariq Lamptey, Antoine Semenyo, Stefan Ambrosius, Eddie Nketiah, Mohamed Salisu. And even more as we look forward to getting a highly competitive Black Stars team that can hold the flag high at the next FIFA World Cup and also make a major statement for Africa. and also stake a very big claim for Africa as having some of the best talents or having the most talented football region in the world. But question is, how much have we, churned this around to get the needed results? South America has dominated greatly when it comes to the stage of the FIFA World Cup, with Brazil being the most achieved side. Are we about to see a revolution at the FIFA World Cup? Well, before we see that revolution, we need to put our act together technically. And that's what we want to talk about today. What are your areas of concern? And what will probably make you tick the box when it comes to the recent decisions that have been made regarding the Black Stars? After years and probably so many months of a lot of work in the background and a lot of engagements by the Ghana FA led by its president Kurt Okraku, we now see the Ghanaian players who have lived outside of Ghana now have the opportunity to play for the Black Stars. Let's hear your thoughts as we get into this conversation. But before we get down to, telling you who will be, leading the conversation here on the show, I had a conversation with a few friends of mine during the week. And this is just regular gatherings after work where everybody comes to, let down a little bit of stress and, have different conversations. Football has been paramount and has been major because of the happenings of the past week. Let's now take a listen to some of the varied thoughts that were expressed about this new development within the Black Stars. Well, that's the reason why you also can join us with your thoughts. Remember, it's +233 5511 11997. +233 5511 11997 here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM with live streaming on our various social media handles, the Joy FM Facebook wall, and also my Joy Online TV on YouTube. Let's now take a listen to the thoughts that were expressed, during the conversation that I had during the week.
My point is, getting these new quality players is very good for the team. But the thing is, are they compatible on the field? Can they work together as a team?
We work on that. That's why they take them right now. That's why we get training.
But they're supposed to work together for a while before they can be on the field just to play compatible. To know when and where each player could be at any point of time. But if they are not compatible, we will just be having nice quality players playing anyhow on the field. That is really my problem here. But even though they are all very quality players and they are very good, and it will help us at a point. But how they play on the field will be the main question, or let's say, like we should play them for a while to see how they go about with their football game on the field.
I don't have a problem with us bringing new players in or new stars in. But people are so concerned about that. Some people qualified us for the World Cup. But those who qualified us for the World Cup, the simple thing is we pay them. We pay them for their service. They've qualified us. And they are not qualified now to join us in the World Cup. So we need more people to come in. Since we want to progress from the quarterfinals for the last time that we went, we have to bring in more players for them to come and occupy their spaces. All we are seeking now is to beef up our team. You understand? When you bring these international players to join our team, or these our nationalities to join our team, it will beef up for us to move ahead from where we stopped. That was the quarterfinals. We can move ahead to semi-finals.
The fact of the matter is that the way we contract our players to play the World Cup is very poor. It's as if we don't have the right people to pick on the right players to manage or to play for Black Star. And there are three things for me that can qualify a team further on in the World Cup. That's one, being patriotic; two, determination; and three, individual expectations with regards to career. People have been called over the years to play for Black Star, and they put in their best. Why am I saying this? They put in their best to the extent that they know what they were fighting for. Now, players are being called from nowhere against their will to come and play for Black Star when there are people who really want to fight and play and make an impact on the World Cup. And if such people are denied and people like this are being called against their will, what are we heading to? I mean, come on, let's be real here. If I am called to play during the qualifiers and I kill myself to play to the best and qualify the country to the next level or to the World Cup, and at the 11th hour somebody is called in because the person probably has, fine, the person has international recognition, has more experience and all that, then we should have brought these kind of people to start the whole thing, the whole process from the word go. You understand? But if along the way you drop players who have fought so hard and you can tell that they are fighting for the flag, and you drop them and you go and bring people who say initially they don't play, but the moment we qualify they will play. I mean, come on, even the heavens will not help us.
Me, I think it's a good idea because looking at our qualifiers, the African qualifiers we played against Nigeria, the two legs, we didn't do well. I won't say it was a good game. It was a very bad game. Just that we had our chances. And even if you watch the last game versus Nigeria had a lot of chances against us, but just that they didn't use the chances. So watching from our games, our previous games, it's not good. We can't take this to the World Cup. So bringing in the new players like Inaki, Tariq, and those other players, I think it will be a good start for Ghana.
We need to take our best players to Qatar, the best players we can. And it is not the preserve of Ghana alone.
Okay, so apologies for the little sizzles in that soundbite, but point has been made very clearly. And there are those who are saying, listen, timing is not good. Those who are saying, look, it's a good idea to bring them. And now you just heard Ibrahim Sanidara, who's joining us from his base in London for this conversation. Ibrahim Sanidara is a seasoned award-winning journalist who has a lot of work experience with media here in Ghana and the BBC as well, and has also worked as spokesperson for the Ghana FA. He has seen many of these kinds of situations and has a lot of experience from all of those particular instances and has a lot to share with us this afternoon. Ore Kwampofo is our in-house, football statistician. He also normally plays a role of a summarizer on our very big, commentary sessions here at Joy Sports. He'll be joining us with some facts and some figures about these youngsters and what they bring to the table. I'll also be getting, the thoughts of Ghana web editor Nathaniel Attoh, formerly of Joy Sports. Now, he is a board member of the Ghana Football Awards, which we brought to you during the weekend. I mean, last weekend on the Joy Prime channel. Of course, loads and loads of conversations about the Black Stars, who deserves to play there, and what it should be looking like as we go along. Remember that we have quite a number of months to go, but not too many opportunities for the team to play together. That is one of the arguments that have been put forward. So, also here with me in the studio is a representative of one of the most vibrant, football platforms that you can get, like football platforms on WhatsApp that you can get, in this side of town. Now, there have been many conversations on that platform and others, and there are varied thoughts to share as well on this particular subject. Now, so what's going to be happening today is that we want to take everybody's, perspective, onto this matter. So Isaac Chiando is a media practitioner. Today, he's just going to play the role of a football fan who's part of a very active football platform known as Lovers of Football. So greetings to all of you, our friends are Lovers of Football. We know you're all tuned in. To the patrons, to all the active members, we say thank you very much for being a part of this conversation. And of course, you can join us. Remember, it's 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. Today is the day when you take out all of those thoughts from your from the internal part of your WhatsApp platforms onto our WhatsApp platform here at Joy 997 FM. So it's 055-1111-997. So Isaac Kofiche Ando joins me here in the studio. Isaac, good to have you here. Great stuff. Also, joining us from a distance is Ibrahim Sanidara. In a bit, Nathaniel Attoh and Ore Kwampofo will also join us and bring their perspective to the conversation as well. You're welcome to the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's a lot to talk about, as you could all see and hear.
FM.
Thank you very much for staying here with us on Joy 99.7 FM, another edition of the Joy Sports Link right here. And the happenings of the week have just necessitated this conversation, as we always do here. So let me just quickly touch base with our friends who are joining us virtually. Ibrahim Sanidara joining us from London. Uriku Ampofo of Joy Sports also joining us from some part of the capital as well. All right. So, Ibrahim, good to see you, and happy Eid to you. Is our hope and prayer that all these sacrifices that have been made during this period will be accepted by Allah, so that He has mercy on us and gives us good omen.
I mean, thank you very much, Nat. Eid Mubarak to my family and friends in Ghana. Obviously, I had to come to London to celebrate the Eid with the family here before I head off to Morocco for the latter parts of the African Women's Championship. But it's for the good of it. May we have a peaceful country, and may all our difficulties as a people, as Ghana, be lifted upon us and worldwide. Thank you very much, Nat, for the best wishes.
Great stuff there, Kofi. Good to see you.
Sure.
We've been talking about this for a while now, and it's good to have you in the studio finally.
I think that it's a great conversation to have. It's very necessary. The timing is perfect, so I'm geared up for it.
Great stuff, great stuff. In a bit, we'll be joined by Oreku Ampofo as well. Oreku, touch base if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you good and clear, Nat.
Great. Did you play any football today, though?
No. I'm on a break this week. I'm trying to go out of Accra and just clear my head a bit.
Okay. I thought you were going to use the injury as an excuse.
Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine.
So, Sunny and Kofi, Oreku Ampofo is one of the wasted talents that we have, because, Oreku, I look at your height and, I look at your build, you could have done very well. I mean, if you and Inaki are standing together, I'm sure we can't really make much of a difference.
I think I also qualify as a wasted talent.
Oh, Charlie.
Because when I was a kid, teams actually came home.
I see.
Trying to get me to play. But my younger brother had hernia.
Okay.
Because of that, my mom said no football for us.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do the analysis like that. Okay, Ibrahim. You have seen various stages of conversations like these. You were very active within the FA, pursuing your work as communications director. I mean, during the period when Ghana was convincing, the likes of Kevin Prince Boateng and all to come and play for Ghana. Now the numbers have increased, and now we see a completely different, set of names and faces. And there are varied thoughts as well. You joined our Twitter space conversation during the week, and you made some very brilliant points as well. But what are your initial reactions to the seeming sudden interest in the Black Stars and wanting to be a part of the Black Stars team?
Well, that it's to be expected. The lure of the World Cup is great for footballers, for administrators, for the media, for football fans. It works perfect. This is the biggest sporting platform on earth, and no footballer would want to miss that opportunity to go to the World Cup. That said, you cannot go into a gunfight with a knife. Currently, the Ghana national team is like a knife going into a gunfight. And the truth is that we qualified for the World Cup because of the way we prepared, because of the determination of the boys, and because of the tactical nuance of our technical team. Now, this is a different ball game altogether, and we have to up the stakes. We have to admit that we didn't beat Nigeria. We have to be honest in admitting that we didn't beat Nigeria. And we can't go to the World Cup with, these same players, or the level of options we had were not sufficient enough. So we have to up the ante, up the stakes, and improve the team. If it works well for us, it's for the good of the team. If it also benefits the players, it's also for the good of the team. No one remembers that Kevin Prince Boateng, before the 20 World Cup, had not played for Ghana. But everyone remembers the fact that Ghana got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. So the approach is perfect. The approach is perfect in that we have to admit amongst ourselves that we need to improve several areas of the squad. And if these players are Ghanaians, most importantly, they are Ghanaians, and it is possible that we can take them and make them available to Ghana, why not? And finally, apart from Inaki Williams, who is in his late 20s, the rest are in their early 20s.
Yeah, there's an average age of about 23. That's correct. Yeah.
Exactly. So that give and take gives us some 10, 12 years or 6, 7 appearances at the African Cup of Nations. If these players are to continue to grow on this trajectory that we know them and continue to be like that, it will take us from the side that was knocked out of the African Cup of Nations by an island called Comoros to the last 4 that we had been contending with since 2008 until recently when that chain was broken. It will give us an opportunity to aspire to win the African Cup of Nations again for a very long time. And it will also give us the opportunity to go into this World Cup and fight. I'm not saying that automatically, because these players are coming in, will win or will excel at the African Cup, at the World Cup. It gives us a good fighting chance. Now, I monitor consistently the media throughout the world. I've focused my lenses particularly on our group opponents at the World Cup. Immediately after the draw, all the countries from South Korea, Portugal, and Hungary, and Uruguay had put Ghana as the team that would finish bottom of the group. Immediately that news broke, I looked at the projections of the newspapers again. Some of the biggest newspapers in Korea, the Sun and Obola in Portugal and the rest, and a lot of the newspapers in Uruguay. And immediately they had moved Ghana from the bottom of the group to the second in the group.
Okay, hold on, Sonny. I need you to make this point again. So you're saying that from observation of content in the media in the countries that we're playing against, once the draw was done, Ghana was given the lowest rating in the group that will finish bottom of the group.
Absolutely. Yes.
Once these players were made available for selection, then the analysis has changed and put Ghana at number 2. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And those guys that work under the ambit of Ghana SoccerNet, Football Ghana, and the rest of the websites will tell you. There are the links I shared with them for them to have a look if they are making their analysis. They'll tell you that immediately it rose to number 2. And that trickled down to the bookmakers too as well. The bookmakers have now narrowed the odds for Ghana, thinking that Ghana can do something better. So the money you would put on Ghana has now become a lot tighter than it was before. So it tells you that generally people feel that Ghana is now an improved team. It is a welcome idea. Now there's this thought, in one of the tapes that you played, that a lot of these players came because we had qualified for the World Cup. It could be true. It could 90% be true. But I'm also aware that players like Edin Ketia came to the Ghana under-17 team and was told that he was not cut for it several years ago. His father can attest to that fact. And I can attest to the fact that I know, in fact, I'm a little bit related to the Lamptey family. His father is a very, very close friend of mine. That Tariq himself, several years ago, had been sending me personal messages that he wanted to play for the junior national teams of Ghana before England invited him. Yes, that is the truth. That is the truth. So it will tell you that a lot of these players have some affection for the country. Maybe we didn't have the opportunity to court them when they were young. You see, so that opened them to more opportunities. And if they have more opportunities in perhaps countries they were born in, countries they grew up with, in countries they have friends in, what do you think they'll do? If it was you, you'll do the same. So we should not call them as, or we should not see them as people who are traitors or people who are opportunists. A lot of them love Ghana. Some of them, even before they were invited to the national team, even before this issue of the national team came to the fore, they come to Ghana for holidays. Why do you think they come to Ghana for holidays? They come here because they love the country. They love the country. If this, courting will bring them some benefit and it also benefits the country, I think that it's welcome. But there are long-term lessons we should learn from this. One, on how we court these players. Let's get this right. These people or these players are Ghanaians. Whether they were born in Sefin-Kwanta, Nima, Newtown, Mamo, Bizongo, wherever it is, whether they were born there or they were born in London, Germany, they are Ghanaians. They are Ghanaians. We cannot say that just because they were born outside or they had the opportunity to play for another country, if they say they want to come and help us or play a role for us, we'll say that, oh, because you played for them. They are kids. We cannot reject our blood. We cannot reject them. So if it works in both, for both way, for both sides, with interest for both sides, it is welcome. Maybe the lessons we can learn going forward is that perhaps we need to court these players much earlier so we won't see them as traitors or we won't see them as opportunists. I would, for instance, call for a summer camp, for instance, where all players that are born, Ghanaian players that are born abroad, maybe in the summer, would meet somewhere in Europe. They would get to learn a little bit about the Ghanaian culture because there are some uncomfortable moments. A friend of mine, a journalist, one of the leading journalists in African football, Mark Gleason, once nudged to me over the fact that a lot of players who switch nationality can't even sing the national anthem of the countries they will be playing for. It is true. But imagine that we have consistent summer camps. They know some of the culture we have in our national teams, in our country, some of the difficulties they will meet. We will not have the problem of courting them again later on in future, particularly in Germany. Germany has the highest number of Ghanaian footballers born abroad. Don't be mistaken about England. Currently, on my watch, are more than 300 players of Ghanaian descent in Germany alone.
In Germany alone, 300 players.
In Germany alone, yes. In Germany alone, 300 players. Portals were reporting about Ambrosius, Konigsdorfer, Patrick Pfeiffer. A lot of Ghanaians, they don't know them. But the portals under my belt were consistently reporting on these players. Almost on a weekly basis. Yes.
Sunny, very, very interesting thoughts you've brought to this conversation. The revelations about, especially the likes of Tariq Lamptey saying that he wanted to play for Ghana even at the juvenile level. But of course, that could not go through. Kofi is here with me in the studio. Daniel, I'll be coming to you very shortly. And Ulrich, who will also be telling us about what these youngsters are bringing to the table, position for position or, portion of the field for portion of the field. Kofi, Ibrahim has made some very interesting revelations here that, for all you know, there are way much more, players of Ghanaian descent in Germany than we even think. We think that it's more concentrated in the UK, but even in Germany, you have a lot more. But what about this conversation amongst football fans about who is more Ghanaian than the other? How do you feel about that?
I think that both sides have a good point.
Okay.
This is my reason. Some people are looking at commitment. They don't care about competence. The primary objective for selection to these people is about commitment.
Okay.
And when you are talking about commitment, it's easier to make a case for those who were available at a time then when there was not much glory around the team.
Sure.
And so their point is well made. This is how I love my football. You don't have to be the best player. You have to give off your best. And I cannot make such a case for Inaki Williams. Now, we can look at the other side too. When you played the qualifiers, you were paid. When you qualified, you were given a bonus. So it means that at each stage you contributed, you were effectively remunerated. So that service you rendered with regards to the qualifiers, it has been paid for. Selection to the tournament itself starts on a very flat platform with equal opportunity given to everyone. And if we are to look at selecting only players who play their qualifiers, we used over 90 players, and we would need less than about 32. Now, we definitely
number increased to 26 now.
26, okay. So even with those who play the qualifiers, we cannot include everyone. So there will definitely be people who are going to be disappointed. The fact that Inaki Williams is available doesn't also mean that he has secured an automatic qualification.
That is one point I'm going to come to. Kofi, I want you to hold these thoughts here. Daniel, let me get your stance on this matter. And Nathaniel Attoh is editor of Ghana Web, previously here of Joyce. Is one of the many products of Joy Sports who are out there doing great things. Daniel, good to have you here on the show. Nathaniel Attoh is also a board member of the Ghana Football Awards. Now, this conversation about the FA has done a lot of work in the background. Now, okay, I agree. I would want to play for the Black Stars. Now, the only channel through which one can play for the Black Stars is through the head coach, Attoh. Does it then mean that these players have had automatic qualification? Where do we place that conversation as well, Daniel?
It's a conversation that's in order, and I understand why people would be apprehensive and say...
Yeah, I would want you to amplify your voice a little bit, Daniel. Sure.
Okay, is it better now?
Yeah, it is.
I hope it is better now. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So I was saying that I understand why people are apprehensive and feel that the mere fact that there's been a lot of pop and pageantry in announcing the decision by these players to switch nationality and play for the Black Stars would mean that they will automatically have a spot in the national team. But I also have the firm belief that it is the prerogative of the coach to decide which players will make the squad. Sometimes coaches will make a decision not based on the players' competence alone. Coaches have excluded players in the past based on disciplinary record. So that will come into play. But the ball is squarely in the court of the coach who will decide. I know some concessions may have been made by the FA president or the FA entourage that spoke to these players and their parents and their managers in helping to make the decision to come and play for the Black Stars. But I think Kofi was spot on. Not every player who played in the qualifiers necessarily would have a spot in the squad because we have only 26 places. And this is even an increase from the 23-man squad that previously existed. These are quality players. The question you need to ask yourself is, are they better in the positions that they play? If I'm a manager of any company, I would place the competence of anybody above the emotional connection or whatever other reasons. When we're going to a competition where the stakes are very high, where you have to play against the very top opposition or the very best in terms of national team football. So I understand and I appreciate, but Kofi, Sani have made the point. The fact that somebody was born outside of this country does not make them less Ghanaian. And the question you have to ask is, the person that you are asking to go ahead of these players, are they better than the options that we have available? How many players? 6 players. There are 26 spots in the national team, assuming without admitting that even all these 6 players will get a place in the final roster. There are 20 more places available, and injuries will come in, players will lose form. There are many reasons why a player may not make the cut or will make the cut to Qatar. And so I think the question is, are they competent enough? And that should be at the heart of all the conversations we will have, because we cannot satisfy everybody. There are 31 million people in this country, and there are many, many Ghanaians who are playing their football outside the country, in the country, who will feel that they have a right to play in the national team. But the coach has a responsibility. He's paid to make these bold decisions and make a choice as to which 26 players are best qualified to represent all of us at the biggest stage when it comes to national team football.
Well, send in your messages 055 997. 055 997. So clearly, a point is being established here that even though you played in the qualifiers, you are not guaranteed a place in the World Cup. And those could be the stories of the likes of, Godwin Attoh, who's now a coach doing very, very well, and lived above that disappointment of not featuring in the eventual first squad that played in Ghana's first appearance at the FIFA World Cup in 2006. A brilliant player indeed, one of our fantastic options in midfield, yet he couldn't get the opportunity. So the former Black Starlets captain, Godwin Attoh, did not play in Germany. Meanwhile, he contributed actively to the qualification campaign. So that's a big example. Now, we also do appreciate that there is going to be the element of managing the expectations of these ones who will be included, because, and especially, I'm saying this especially because at certain times there will be, it will get uglier. I mean, I'm not saying this is a touchwood situation. Things can go bad, and the classic example is that happened in Brazil, where you saw Kevin Prince Boateng use unprintable words towards the coach Kwesi Appiah at the time. I remember having a conversation with Coach Kwesi Appiah, and he told me how disappointed he was and how how angry that got him, that Kevin Prince Boateng will use such language towards him, because Kevin Prince Boateng did not grow up here and is not used to our norms and our regular values, where you do not have those kinds of confrontations with elderly people or people who are supposed to have supervisory responsibility over you. Well, let's now bring in Oreku into this conversation. Oreku has been doing a lot of, following of these players, necessarily their competence on the pitch, certain key, elements or certain key characteristics that these players have that make them superior to the other. Oreku, immediately, what are these players bringing on board? Inaki Williams leads the pack, obviously, because of the big announcement that was made during the week. Now, a lot of people talk about his physical build, his speed, and his ability to play utility. Do you agree?
Before I actually comes to that question, thank you very much, Nat, for the opportunity to contribute to what has been a very engaging discussion all through this week. Just for my opening thoughts, yes, these players would have to fight for a place. I do think this decision might have, all of these announcements might have come some few months late, and you can't really blame the FA for that, due to the fact that, of course, you can't also deny that the World Cup qualification to the World Cup played a crucial role in convincing some of these players, and so that only happened earlier in March, and the process itself takes some weeks and sometimes months as well, and so it's understandable. But one thing that has been running through my mind is the fact that yes, they have to fight for their place, but they do have an added advantage. And I'm saying this because if you take into account the new FIFA eligibility rules in terms of national team, technically, you have to force your hand and cap some of these players in competitive football just to give yourself some room for slack. Because let's just take this, for instance, Ransford Yeboah, who is still not turned 21. and let's say the likes of these young players, FIFA and all that, if you do not give them that competitive appearance, they can't change their mind again. And already, per what we've seen, you can deduce that they were already sitting on the fence in terms of who to play for. And so technically, I think for the next call-up, the technical team might have to, their hands may be forced, because you would want to cap some of these players and know that, yes, officially, Inaki cannot play for Spain again. He's Ghanaian. He's played for Ghana after the age 21. Now he's officially Ghanaian.
Kevin Prince Boateng, for instance, when he got into the team, did very well in joining Jama sessions, being a part of even when clearly he hadn't been a part of it for a long time.
I think it depends largely on the kind of reception they receive. The kind of reception they receive, their own mentality. If you are coming to play because now you feel that it is a time to be a Ghanaian, your approach is going to change. But then, let's be honest. Odoi knows that he's not going to get into the English national team. With Rhys James and Arnold, he's not getting in there. So that has made coming to Ghana his only route to national team football. Inaki Williams has waited on the fence for a long time for a call-up to the Spanish national team, and he is not getting a call-up. So he is also coming because he knows that his only route to national team football is the Black Stars. Now, we can look at competence. It is extremely important, but it also brings us back to how our soccer has declined. Because if this happened in 2006, Inaki Williams is not walking into our team.
When you have an Asamoah Gyan.
Exactly. Matthew Amoah. He's not walking into the team.
Yeah.
2010, he is definitely not walking into the team. And so we have failed consistently to develop players to the point where we try to reap where we have not sown. That is what is happening. These guys look like our messiahs for the World Cup simply because we have failed to do the right things to develop players who identify better with Ghana. I'm not taking anything away from them. Personally, I want them in because, I'm not confident in several areas of the team. But then, we have a job to do. We have a job to do to make them come in here as workers.
You should also tell us which areas you are not personally confident in.
Especially with the forward lines.
Okay.
First of all, strikers have become a problem for us. Kwesi Appiah did well in the previous AFCON with Jordan.
Okay.
He did a great job. I was hoping that Jordan would carry on from there, but Jordan is effectively a winger. The only reason why we keep calling out Jordan is because we don't have an out-and-out striker to lead the lines for us. And the Roma boy, Afenejan, is too young for that. He lacks a lot of things in terms of positioning. He has pace, he has energy, but the key attributes a forward needs is positioning and the composure in front of goal. I wouldn't say Inaki Williams is the most composed forward, but he comes with a name, and defenders respect name. He is very fit, gone over 200 games consistently. It's a record in Spain now, and so we can count on his fitness. But then we have to ask ourselves, for how long are we going to depend on players who are not the result of a direct investment of Ghana football? Are we always going to get an Inaki Williams, a Lamptey to come through? Are they always, even the point is, are they even going to fit in immediately? Are they going to fit in immediately? What are some of the changes we would need to implement to ensure that these players integrate properly into the teams? It's a whole lot of job because here in Ghana, we do mepaucho, we kneel down, we humble ourselves for the big men. Up there, it's about, I know my rights. Maybe Otuado, because of his background, he can identify with such characters. Kwesi Appiah couldn't, because Kwesi Appiah is a typical Ghanaian man who loves that Ghanaian culture of the adult is always right. So I expect that Otuado will bring his experience to bear in ensuring that they are comfortable. But I feel we need to ask the more important question of what are we doing deliberately to produce quality players for the Black Stars, right from the junior level football, instead of trying to scan all over the world to see investments made elsewhere. Because I bet you, if Inaki Williams lived in Ghana, he won't be the striker he is now. So what are we doing here? We need to answer those questions. And then
Kofi has brought a very important point, and I was going to bring you in, Sani.
Can I join the conversation?
Exactly. Because the key thing here is you look at the performance of our Black Starlets team at the just ended tournament. The AFCON, the WAFU tournament, okay, in Cape Coast, and it seems to give you that that clear picture of what the situation is like when it comes to the developmental arm of our game. Sunny?
I don't think the picture of the development aspect of our game is true, as we saw of the under-17 team. I don't think Parkwesi Fabian had the opportunity to select the right players because of this MRI issue and a lot of several other factors that are not visible to the eyes of Ghanaians.
Okay.
For instance, I'll put these points ahead. Kamal Din Suleimana, 2 years ago, was a Colts player in Ghana. He was an academy player. He goes to Denmark just for 1 year, and he's the most expensive African player under 23 years. That is a straight product of the Ghana football youth system. And let me tell you, for your information, there are hundreds of such talents languishing in academies across the country. The academies in Ghana have made it a point that they will not release their players to our junior national teams because scouts will come to the national teams and steal their talents. That is a fact. So in our recent junior national teams, you don't see players from the Right to Dream Academy, from WAFA, and all the rising good academies we've seen in the country. Because when they go to the under-17 national teams or under-20, this is where the scouts will come. Because as players that are minors, these academies cannot tie them to contracts. Meanwhile, these academies have kept these players in their teams for 8 years, 8 to 10 years, feeding these players morning, afternoon, evening, hospital, education, sending them abroad to play in international tournaments. Then when it is time for the under-17 team, a scout comes, goes to see the parents. And you know, a lot of these parents, Ghanaian parents, excuse me to say, they've had these issues for a very long time. Somebody's been looking after your child for 8 years, 8 to 10 years, feeding him, some of them giving them international education that, Nat, you and I did not have. Because the education at the Right to Dream Academy is perhaps even at the same level as GIS. Because they are taking A-levels, British A-levels, SAT, and the rest. We did not have, our parents could not afford that. Then a scout will come to the national under-17 team camp, sees 1 or 2 talents, goes to go and see the parents of the player. This is 20,000 or 30,000 euros. Let the player come out of the system because as a minor, you cannot tie him to a contract.
Sure.
They take them away.
Mm.
So which academy will release its player and then be subjected to this when they've also invested for this number of years? And I think that it's one area that the FA must engage the academies again, because there have been a lot of engagements with the academies in the past over these, over their reluctance to release players to the junior national teams. If we are able to engage with them again, we can get these players to be available, and then we can see that, we've got talents. Otherwise, they'll
out of the AFCON, some Ghanaians said those were the best players Ghana had. Ibrahim Sanidara insisted that that wasn't true and that we had better players out there. Well, I believe that World Cup qualification has brought out all these players home, especially Mohamed Salisu. Kudos to the GFA and the Sports Ministry for making sure that the Black Stars qualified ahead of Nigeria to Qatar. It has so far changed the face of the Black Stars as hotcake. All right, so Kofi wanted to just chip in very briefly, but just before we do that and we bring in Uri Kwampofo for final comments as well as Daniel Odro as well, would get on the phone line and have a conversation with former FA chairman and Ghana's former ambassador to Serbia, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. He's joining us on the phone line very shortly. But also, interesting that Sanidara made mention of the academy system. Well, the thing about academies is that we do have a number of them, but of course, we do know that Right to Dream stands tallest amongst them, considering the kinds of products and the system that they're running there. But point to be made is that they are not enough. Would want to see them scattered more in different parts of the country. Unfortunately, we don't have those numbers. And this is very interesting that myself, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, and many others gathered together at the Accra International Conference Center last night to herald the launch of the Garmanche Cup for 2022, which will be played on August 7. Now, the Garmanche Cup, headlined by King Takite Kutru II, the Garmanche, is going to be played between Hearts of Oak and Kotoko. And he also launched the Garmanche Soccer Center of Excellence, which is supposed to be an academy with, all the structures that are required for, a world-class academy. These are conversations that we're going to have going forward. But I would want to bring in Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo for his thoughts. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
You are welcome.
And Ghana's former ambassador to Serbia. Kofi?
Yeah, I think that Sani didn't get my point well. I didn't say we don't have talent. I talked about deliberate talent development. And he mentioned players like Essien, Derek Boateng and Co. at the 2006 World Cup. These were the result of a program, the 5-year development plan of Ben Kofi. Directly, you can credit the rise of ACN, John Mensah, and all those players to that program. Now, Ghana football, the heart of Ghana football has until recently not been the academy. The academies just came in. We've always found footballers on the street because in the past we dug deep and gave everyone in every corner of the country the opportunity. The fact that the academies did not release their players didn't mean that we should perform that bad at WAFU. It is because a thorough work was not done on the ground for the right players to be brought into the national team. We cannot make an excuse with MRI. I mean, if you are cheating and you are caught, you can't say I didn't do well because I was caught. We could still have assembled a better team. And going forward, we have to be deliberate because you see, we cannot always keep counting on players developed with the resources of other countries. We cannot always keep counting on players who would come in at the last minute to give us that glorious appearance. We have the talent here. We need to give them the opportunity. We need to give them the platform. All some of them need is a platform. On the foreign players coming in, I think our hands are tied. We have no choice because we don't have the quality here. And once we don't have the quality, we will need to somehow, in quotes, rent people to come and help us. But this cannot be sustainable.
Interesting stuff there. Let's get the thoughts of Nathaniel Attoh there as well. Now we sort of have shaped this conversation, and now the reality is staring us in the face. Ibrahim Sani Dara has told us about how other countries ahead of time are rating themselves above us for very obvious reasons. Now there is limited time to get all of this sorted out and figured out. How much confidence have you got that this can be done and Ghana can present a formidable fight, on the stage of the FIFA World Cup once it kicks off in late November? Daniel.
So, there's a lot of work still to be done before the World Cup proper. We've done a lot of work from January up until now. The FA has contributed its quota. I think Otto Addo in the interim has done a tremendous job because not many people would have given the Black Stars a dog's chance after the Africa Cup of Nations fiasco in Cameroon. But certain things have happened. They jumpstart your, if you like, your progress. And this is what has happened. There's a short, medium, and long term. I'm sure this will be a short to medium term project. But going forward, like Kofi said, we need to find homegrown solutions to our problems because we may not be able to count on this trajectory for a very long time. But this is a good problem to have, like both Oreku and Ibrahim have highlighted. I believe that with the quality that we have available, if we do our homework well, if we groom them well, if the integration is done properly so that it doesn't bring division and all of that, then we would have a good fighting chance. We have a reputation at the World Cup in 2006 and 2010. I think we were one of the best African sides at the tournament. Yes, we know what happened in 2014, but that's something that usually would not happen. So we have another opportunity to right the wrongs, and I believe that we've got the ingredients and the skill set in this team. Having the talent available alone is not enough, which is why I believe the behind-the-scenes work must be very thorough so that it doesn't bring divisions into the camp. Already, there are rumors and chatters that a lot of the senior players or some of the senior players are unhappy with the ceremonial way we have gone about the announcement. But that's something that can be sorted out. And I think it should be done with some of the leading figures and senior figures in the team. But we've got a good talent and a good pool of talents to pick from. And it gives us a very good chance going into this competition. But just to say a little joke to Kofi, the Europeans come for our doctors and our nurses. They have the best of facilities and they come for our doctors and our nurses. Maybe it's high time we take a few of our own product that they have grown for us. But that's just by the way.
A very interesting point you raised there, Daniel. Thank you very much for the thoughts. Okay, so let's now go to Oreku, and we'll do our best to squeeze in a bit of time to get in a few phone calls as well and see if we can get in as many messages as possible from our WhatsApp console. When these conversations are getting intense, then time doesn't become our best friend. It always happens here on the Joy Sports Link. But we're glad to have all of you on board as we look at the ways by which we can all together as a collective, make sure that we have a formidable force at the upcoming FIFA World Cup. Okay, so Oreku, finally, I would want you to tell me, what your preferred choices would be. I mean, we've been doing this over a period. I mean, with what is available now, what kind of starting 11, for instance, would you want to propose? There are loads and loads of people who would want to make calls and all of that. But since you are looking at the statistics and everything, I would want to give you that and see what you're able to come up with. I'm sure that will definitely be a subject of big conversations during the week. So, Reku, tell us, if, for instance, we were starting off against Portugal, which players would you want to put in there to start off the game from goalkeeping to striking? Cool. All right, cool. Thank you very much. As for this conversation, I know we're going to continue it.
But I think I deserve a last shot at the door.
You want,
the Europeans, they come for doctors we want.
Yeah.
We go for players they don't want. You see.
Well, I'm sure that one too would have to continue off air, once we're done with the show. Ibrahim Sani Dara would have you wrap all of this up for us, but let's see if we can squeeze in a few phone calls. 0302 216 541, 0302 216 541, 0302 216 541, as we get towards the finish line here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. And as I mentioned earlier, the Gamanche Cup will be played between Accra Hearts of Oak and Accra Great Olympics on August 7 at the Accra Sports Stadium. Sure, a game that will renew a great rivalry and one that sure is here to stay. Yesterday there was a very successful launch of the cup game. All right, so let's get a few phone calls, and then after that we can come for our final thoughts from Ibrahim Sani Dara, and then we can call it a show right here. 0302 216 541. But these thoughts that Sani Dara shared earlier are very interesting, Kofi. The fact that already these teams are downplaying Ghana's strength. And in 2006, the likes of the US, Czech Republic did the same, and they paid dearly for it.
Yeah, I think that we are currently the West ranked team at the World Cup, right? Yes. I think the last time I checked, we were the West ranked team. So I think it's only fair that they would analyze our strength based on the FIFA ranking. The whole world watched the AFCON. I mean, if Comoros beats you, no one is going to take you seriously. And we have teams that are really doing well currently. Portugal has one of the best squads in the world right now. Korea, they are doing very well. You might not know their names, but when they come together as a collective, they are super.
And there's going to be heavy reliance on Hugh Min as well.
Exactly. And Uruguay are beginning to have some quality emerging talents.
Very well.
So it's fair that we are the underdogs. It's very fair.
Okay. Jacob is our first caller. Jacob, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Apologies for delaying this segment. So do it in 45 seconds for me.
All right, great. The point is that we are losing the actual benefit and the brain behind of the World Cup for selecting players from.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Great. The point is that we are supposed to use 4 years to prepare talent to go and showcase it on the world stage. The benefit will go to the teams, individual teams, where the players are coming from. Let's look at the players we are mentioning that they are going to the World Cup. Which Ghanaian team is going to benefit from the World Cup? From the FIFA developmental payments that they are going to pay for the clubs that has trained the individual players. Have you seen where we are losing as a nation?
Sure.
So we need to put down proper mechanism. Proper. When I say developmental, the players must go through the school system. Is that okay? So that we develop it and get proper, so that we can get players from Ghana who are native of Ghana, from the clubs of Ghana, so that when you go to the World Cup, the money the FIFA is giving to the clubs that train the players will come to Ghana. Otherwise, the individual abroad teams, the teams in various countries where our players are playing, they will benefit from the World Cup. But Ghana clubs will never benefit from Ghana. Take the that of Elias or whatever, the guy, who was on the World Cup. The local club benefited. Aside from that player, which other local club benefited from the World Cup? So we need to look at how can Ghana clubs or teams benefit from the World Cup that we are going, and what are the developmental structures that we are putting in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have another caller. If we don't, then we'll have to go to Ibrahim Sanidara now for final comments also in 1 minute. Ibrahim, you are expert at doing this, so
thank you very much, Nat.